Good morning, Britain. The trouble with travel. An exclusive survey for this programme has found more than a third of those who visit amber list countries this summer will not obey government rules on their return. This will add to fears that new COVID variants could enter the country. Meanwhile, concerns continue over whether all restrictions can be lifted on Freedom Day, June the 21st. The government's pledged to boost the vaccine rollout so that all over 50s have both doses by that date. And later on in the programme, after 3 decades on Emmerdale, Kim Tate has certainly made some enemies, but who is trying to knock her off? Actor Claire King joins us.
Warmth, sunshine, the name of the game for this week on what is set to be the hottest day of the year so far. Will it last? Will thunderstorms come crashing down at the end of the week? It is misty this morning at Warwick Castle, but the sun is set to shine. All the details of that and more coming up on Good Morning Britain.
Monday, 31st of May, 2021. Live from Television Centre in London. This is Good Morning Britain with Sean Fletcher.
Good morning, it's 6 o'clock. Good to have you with us. We're here all the way through until 9 a.m. with Charlotte and Adil joining me from 6:30. First, though, our top story. More than a third of Britons planning to go on holiday to amber list countries such as Spain and Greece say they will not follow the government's rules to quarantine at home when they return. An exclusive survey for this programme also found 2/3 believe going abroad this summer is a bad idea because of continuing concerns over COVID. Well, in a moment, we will speak to the travel expert Simon Calder in Gibraltar, which is on the green list. But first, to Nick Dixon in Barry Island in South Wales, where people are enjoying the bank holiday at home this year. Nick, our survey suggests British resorts will see a really big increase in tourist numbers this year, giving them, well, a much-needed economic boost.
Absolutely, Sean. Morning to you. And if Barry Island is just a taste of what's to come, then it is going to be an exceptionally busy summer here at the pleasure park with all the amusement, and on the beaches it's been absolutely rammed over the bank holiday weekend. They've had their busiest day of the year, and some of the Welsh holiday letting firms as well reporting huge levels of interest in bookings for the summer. In some cases they're saying that they're already fully booked until October. And of course there will be many who look at whatever options are available in terms of foreign holidays, but the vast majority seem to feel that the safer and more secure option for now is to book here in the UK.
A firm family favourite in the 50s, Barry Island's heyday saw it hosting thousands of visitors from across the UK. Now, with COVID making sun-seeking overseas a potentially risky pursuit, Barry's beaches and promenades are again packed with homegrown holidaymakers. This nearby pleasure park has had its busiest day of the year on Sunday.
People are enjoying themselves. People are living again. People are coming to Barrow in their thousands to have fun.
Staying close to home seems to be on most holidaymakers' minds. A survey commissioned by Good Morning Britain shows 67% of people think it's a bad idea to go abroad this summer, while 43% are planning a UK holiday. But of those who said they're still going to amber list countries, 35% told us they wouldn't be following all of the government's rules on their return.
If lots and lots of people take a small risk, that adds up to a big risk. It's incumbent on everybody to make sure that they aren't going to be the person who accidentally brings the virus in and starts spreading it.
For Barry's beachgoers, there are practical reasons to stay put.
It's just a bit uncertain. Things get cancelled last minute. So it's just easier to stay here.
May as well stay local and, support local hospitality at the minute, since they struggled for the past year.
But even a UK holiday could have its risks. NHS bosses are now worried hospitals in tourism hotspots could struggle to deal with extra demand from an influx of visitors. Everyone's looking forward to a break, but whether it's overseas or over here, it's not just a financial cost that we all need to consider this year. Nick Dixon, Good Morning Britain.
Well, Gibraltar and Portugal are the main holiday destinations on the government's green list, with more countries expected to be added in time for the summer holidays. Well, Spain is amber, but some people are using the border crossing with Gibraltar as a way of getting there.
I think government advice is not to unless it's necessary. Spain is a big country, very different profile for COVID up and down the country. I think I'm vaccinated, my son's vaccinated, and we're going to be staying there for a number of weeks, so we feel that it's safe.
I believe in making your own mind up, assessing the risks. We're lucky. We're from South Wales, so we've had both our jabs. Both of us have had both our jabs. So we did a risk assessment and we decided that we would go for it.
Well, we can speak now to the travel expert, Simon Calder, who is in Gibraltar. Good morning to you, Simon. So is the border crossing there being used as a backdoor to Spain?
Well, Sean, ever since the border reopened nearly 40 years ago between Spain and here in Gibraltar, it's been used by people perfectly legitimately travelling from the UK to the western Costa del Sol and the Costa de la Luz. Now, of course, it's only 2 weeks since the ban on international travel was lifted. As you say, only Gibraltar and Portugal are really the only European summer sun destinations. And Spain is on the amber list. The government says you shouldn't travel there, although it's not illegal. And if I just went 50 metres that side of the border, had a cup of coffee, came back, when I go back to the UK, I would be required to self-isolate for 10 days. Now, I've talked to a number of people who were travelling across yesterday into Spain, and they said, actually, yeah, we know what the rules are. Some of them are even planning to stay in Spain until the mainland joins the green list. But actually, I lost count of the number of people who are staying here in Gibraltar saying, oh, yeah, we'll pop over to Spain for the day. And I said, you can't unless you are prepared to self-isolate when you come back. But I'm afraid I'm not sure how many of them were actually listening.
Yeah, I can imagine. Let's focus our attention on France, Simon. The French authorities have tightened travel restrictions from today to stop the Indian COVID variant spreading. Now, UK visitors will now have to provide compelling reasons to enter France, won't they?
Yes, they will. It's getting really tough. If you want to cross the channel and you're not an EU citizen, and of course British people are not anymore, then you have to provide, as you say, motifs impérieux, compelling reasons to go to France, and obviously a holiday does not count. You'll also have to have a PCR test within 48 hours of arrival and self-isolate for a week. And I'm afraid it's a pattern which we've already seen in Germany, in Austria last week, over the weekend also in Romania, as we hope Europe opens up, becomes a bit more green from the traveller's point of view. Actually, the UK is going red in the view of a number of European countries.
Simon, thank you very much indeed. Well, ministers are planning to offer second COVID jabs to all over 50s within the next 3 weeks. The government is battling to save its target of lifting all lockdown restrictions in England on the 21st of June. A surge in cases caused by the Indian variant has cast doubt over that timetable. Katie Rickard is at Burnley General Hospital. Good morning, Katie. Doctors are also trying to clear this backlog of operations like hip replacements. At the same time, the COVID admission rates is rising in Burnley.
Well, that's right, Sean. This isn't just about whether hospitals are overwhelmed with coronavirus patients, although, of course, that is the main concern. There is also this huge backlog of patients that's been building up for the last year who need elective surgeries. And the worry is if the Indian variant continues to rise, they'll have to wait even longer. So let me just put this in a little bit of perspective for you. We are nowhere near those levels back in January, for example, when 4,500 coronavirus patients were being admitted in a day. We're around about the 130 number, but that's gone up over the last 7-day period by 25%. And that's a real concern, particularly in areas like Lancashire, where I am today, where the Indian variant is at its highest. In Burnley Hospital alone, they're treating 25 coronavirus patients. And some healthcare professionals say, you know, if there's no level of normality in the hospitals yet, can we really achieve proper normality outside those doors?
We know that this variant is transmitting much faster than previous variants, and we know that there are still plenty of people who need to be vaccinated. And the bit we mustn't forget is that hospitals are very busy. They're looking after a larger number of people in emergency departments who are coming forward than we were expecting.
So the vaccination programme has been going well. It's been a bit more like a leisurely marathon to date, but now it's going to be a full pelt sprint to try and get every 50-year-old vaccinated by the 21st of June. Less than 50% of 50-year-olds have been vaccinated to date. But what we're also hearing this morning from the Telegraph is that what won't form part of that roadmap is the COVID vaccination passports for people to go to large-scale events. Does that mean that we won't need the passport to go to them, or does it mean they won't happen at all? We won't find that out until a week before.
We certainly won't. Katie, thank you. Israel's long-serving Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu could be ousted within days. The leader of the right-wing Yamina party has announced he is working towards a coalition agreement with the main centrist party. If successful, it could bring an end to Mr Netanyahu's 12 years in power. A temporary ban on evictions in England, introduced by the government during the first lockdown, has come to an end today. Housing campaigners are warning more than 800,000 people renting homes could now be facing the bailiffs over the next few months. Angela Barnes reports.
The pandemic has made it harder for renters to keep a roof over their head, and now many face losing that battle. 1 in 4 could now forfeit their home, as from today, landlords no longer have to give them 6 months' notice of eviction or any reason. Single mum Kat is one of those served with a no-fault eviction letter.
The chances of finding somewhere else to live is so thin because out there, the rental market is really hot at the minute, and it's really a landlord's market. House prices have gone up. Rent prices have gone sky high.
Housing campaigners are urging the government to ban allowing landlords to evict tenants without reason, and the response has been positive.
The government has committed to ending this in the Renters Reform Bill, and they need to do this as quickly as possible because that will help, because it will mean people have to have a decent amount of notice and an actual reason before they can be evicted.
The government has spent £352 billion to help those in rent arrears, and the support package has helped landlords too, who have also been losing out. But for many, it has still not been enough. Angela Barnes, Good Morning Britain.
Now, Laura's live at Warwick Castle with the weather. And Laura, we waited all spring for some hot weather. Finally, it's here.
I know, and today is the last day of meteorological spring. We class it as March, April and May. The very last day, we could get to 25 degrees, and that would make it not just the warmest day of the year so far, the warmest day of spring on the very last day of it. But everyone's been asking me why the weather has been so crazy, why it's been changing so much. The jet stream. It's always down to the jet stream. So let's take a look at what's been happening. Cast your minds back to April. The jet stream divides the warm air to the south, the cold air to the north, and we were on the cold side of the jet stream. The jet stream sat to the south of the UK, and April was sunny, dry, but cold. Spring forward to May, most of May, the jet stream has been overhead, sitting directly over the UK. It's like a conveyor belt bringing with it outbreaks of rain nearly every single day, and that is why it was so wet. But this weekend, finally, the jet stream moved north. We just needed it to move a few hundred miles, and it did, and we've been on the warm side of the jet stream, and that's the way it's set to stay for much of this week, and that is why it is looking so much drier. But the facts and stats are crazy, because April was the 4th driest April we have ever recorded, but the sunniest and the frostiest. And then back into May, it was the 4th wettest May we've ever recorded, dull and cool. The last few days probably will change with this warmth and the sunshine that we've had, but at the moment we've got fine, dry, sunny weather across the board for much of this week. It's the end of the week as the humidity starts to build, then we see the risk of some thunderstorms arriving, and there's lots of uncertainty with those. But for today, we have low cloud mist and fog first thing. It rolled in from the North Sea like it has done all weekend long. But a more positive outlook for today, because the low cloud mist and fog will lift and break and burn back to those eastern coasts, clearing into the North Sea. So finally sunnier conditions here, and those temperatures will rise across the board. We're looking at high teens, 20s for most towns and cities. 25 degrees is likely to be our top temperature today, and if we get to that, it will make it the warmest day of the year so far. The outlook, though, is for this high pressure to keep with us. So if you are heading out for the next few days, definitely sun cream is needed because UV levels are high. if not very high. Overnight tonight, we basically do it all over again. Low cloud, mist and fog rolls back in, a misty, murky start before it clears away. Beautiful sunshine then takes us through Tuesday, but watch out because Wednesday onwards, Sean, particularly in the south, the risk of some thunderstorms.
Laura, thank you. Good Morning Britain is here all the way through until 9 o'clock with Charlotte and Adil here from 6:30. They'll be joined by former footballer Jermaine Genus, who says his father told him at the age of 10 that stop and search was just the way it is. Find out how he's fighting back and refusing to pass on that message to the next generation. That's at 7:30. And from ballet to ballroom, salsa to swing, our guest entertainment editor Will Njovu has all the latest from this weekend's The Masked Dancer. First, let's get the news, travel and weather where you are.
Hello, I'm Sangeeta Kandola. A vigil will be held later for a flower seller who was stabbed near to his stall in Islington over the weekend. 55-year-old Tony Eastlake died from a knife wound after the attack in broad daylight on Saturday. He had worked at his stall on Essex Road since he was 14 years old. Twickenham Stadium is today hosting a walk-in vaccination event for residents. People can book or just turn up to get a jab with up to 15,000 vaccinations ready to be administered. It's after an increase in the number of cases of COVID in the area. As you've been hearing, the pandemic ban on evictions by bailiffs ends today, with charity Shelter saying it will leave 1 in 4 private renters worried about losing their home. And Heathrow has launched a virtual museum to celebrate its 75th birthday, showcasing key moments in the airport's history captured by its staff, including the final Concorde flight. Travel now on Great Eastern Street in Shoreditch is closed to Curtain Road. That's after an accident. Ebury Bridge Road is closed in both ways between Chelsea Bridge Road and Pimlico Road. And there are park closures on the Circle, District, Metropolitan, Waterloo and City and the Overground. Weather now, here's James.
Murine Hay Fever Relief Eye Drops sponsors the local weather on Good Morning Britain.
Hi there, good morning. If it's not already sunny by you, it will be pretty quickly now. The sun burning through what's left of the cloud, and for a while at least it will be pretty much cloudless skies. A bit of fair weather cloud bubbles up later on in the day, but with a nice southeasterly, it looks as though we'll see 23 to 25 Celsius, maybe warmer tomorrow.
There's more news on our website. It's all at itv.com/London. I'm back in an hour's time. Now over to Sean.
Let's take a look at some of today's front pages. There is a race on to double vaccinate the over 50s in time for the 21st of June, according to the Times. It says that the move could be a way to ensure all restrictions are lifted on so-called Freedom Day. The pandemic's impact on the health service makes the lead in the Daily Mail, which says that some patients are having to wait 2 years to get a vital hip or knee operation. And the Sun's headline, something borrowed, something blue, as it reports on the Prime Minister's wedding to Carrie Symonds. Now Carrie Johnson this weekend. It says the couple are having a 2-day honeymoon by the seaside. Now, more than 39 million people in the UK have received at least one dose of a coronavirus vaccine. But with increasing cases of the Indian variant, does the government need to delay the lifting of further restrictions on the 21st of June? Well, Professor Adam Finn is a member of the UK's Joint Committee on Vaccination and Immunisation. Good morning to you, Professor. Just looking at some of the papers, so the Eye has got vaccines ramped up in a race to 21st of June. We've mentioned the Times front page earlier. So the papers are really focusing on that. Are we up to date? Are we on course with our vaccine programme to beat this Indian variant?
Well, I think the vaccine programme will ultimately give us that protection. I think it's unfortunate, really, that everyone's got this particular date in their head, because really what we need to do is to understand how things is going and adjust accordingly. What we've done wrong in the past is left it too late. and delayed making decisions, ultimately pushed them back, and then ended up with large waves of infection. This time around, we should be cautious, wait to see what's happening, and then let everyone free, if you like, once we know for sure that that's safe and that we can do that without having another round of lockdowns and so on.
Yeah, but a date is what we have, and that's sort of what people need in a way, don't they, to look forward to in terms of setting businesses and working out when you're going to work, when you're going to go on a holiday and all that sort of thing. Hospitalisations will be key, and from what I see, the hospitalisations aren't actually going up that fast. That's good news, isn't it?
Yes, it's good news as far as it goes so far. Of course, the thing is that hospitalisations go up when they do go up. Usually 2 or 3 weeks after cases go up, because it takes a while to get sick. So really, it's around about the 21st of June or just before that it will happen, if it's going to happen, rather than now. And the same with deaths, so that if they are going to go up, will go up after the hospitalizations go up. So it's good news, but it's not, if you like, an answer to the question that we're all asking.
Yeah, good news, but there is a lag time, of course. So what are the options then if the government suddenly see hospitalisations going up or the Indian variant spreading, like wildfire across the country? What can they do? Of course, they can keep lockdown very strict or make it even stricter, but they could just sort of mix and match a bit, couldn't they? Reduce some of the restrictions but keep others. What are their options?
Well, in terms of a quick fix, it isn't actually vaccination. Vaccination is the longer-term strategy to get things under control. The short-term and immediate strategy is to test and get all the cases that they can find and isolate them so that there isn't further transmission. And that's what I think they're trying to do in the areas where there are a larger number of cases of this variant. The other thing that we need to understand more precisely is just how infectious it is. We've seen daily numbers of positive cases going up from around about 2,000 to now 3,000 to 4,000. But it's the secondary attack rate, it's the number of people who get infected by each positive case that really tells us how much more infectious this variant may be. And I think that's becoming clearer by the day, and we should have much clearer idea of that in a week or two's time.
Where do you stand on holidays? Should people be going on holiday if they haven't had the double dose or at all? I mean, abroad. Well, I'm talking about.
Yeah, the foreign travel thing is quite difficult, isn't it? I think it's a changing situation. We're seeing a couple of countries in Europe, because they too want to understand this variant better, imposing quarantine on people coming from the UK. Whether the countries in the south of Europe, who depend very much on the tourist income, will follow suit, I guess, will depend on what we find out about the variant over the next week or two. People clearly don't want to go on holiday and then somehow get stranded. But it's very difficult, isn't it? It's just a moment of great uncertainty, and everyone's desperate to have more certainty. And I wish we could provide that, but
that's been the story of the past year, hasn't it? Lots of uncertainty. Professor Adam Finn, really good to talk to you. Thanks very much indeed.
All right, good morning. Bye.
Well, Will and Jo Vu is here with all the latest entertainment news. And the masked dancer, Will, it's finally here.
Yes, finally here. Good morning, Sean. Yes, the bonkers spin-off to The Masked Singer, The Masked Dancer, made its dazzling debut on Saturday night, where the first of the 12 secret celebs was unmasked to be none other than professional dancer and diversity star Jordan Banjo, a.k.a. Viper. And the competition continued last night with TV personality Louise Redknapp being unmasked as Flamingo. And Detective Jonathan Ross was the only one on the panel to get it right. And the former Strictly star Louise was surprised that Oti didn't know it was her. I mean, they've even done dance classes together. How did she not know? Now, as you can imagine, Twitter has gone mad with speculations as fans try and guess who else could be underneath those masks and costumes. Some people are saying that maybe TV personality Zoe Ball could be the celeb behind the llama costume, and others are certain that another star with Strictly connections, Maisie Smith, could be Squirrel. But do you know what? I've been thinking. I've been connecting the dots this morning. Could GMB's very own Susanna Reid be behind one of the masks? Look, I'm onto something here. Oti even thinks it's her after speculating that Knickerbocker Glory was a journalist because the word scoop was mentioned in the Dancers VT. Now, It could even be Charlotte Hawkins, actually. It could be Charlotte Hawkins. Look, I've worked on The Masked Singer before, so my detective skills are on point. What do you think, Sean? Could it be them?
Susanna's not in all week, so
yeah.
who knows? It could be that. Charlotte's in later on today. We can ask her.
Yeah, we can ask her. But hold on. As I look at you, you're starting to look more suspicious, Sean. Could it be you?
Who knows? I tell you what, I'm a really bad liar, so or maybe I'm a good liar.
Gosh.
I can't
trust anyone on this show. I can't trust anyone on this show. Only time will tell. But don't forget, The Masked Dancer airs every day this week and continues at 7:30 tonight, right here on ITV. Moving on, the highly anticipated Friends reunion was always going to be a smash hit with viewers. And since airing last Thursday in the UK, it's become Sky's most watched single programme since 2014, with 1.4 million people tuning in here. 29% of all streaming households across the pond watched it. And since being announced, HBO Max has seen a jump of 600% in subscribers. The reunion was sprinkled with stardust throughout, golden balls, and Justin Bieber, to name a few. And now Courtney Cox has been recreating that famous dance routine of Ross with none other than pop superstar and close friend Ed Sheeran. Let's check it out. I mean, who knew? Who knew Ed Sheeran could dance like that?
I don't think he's the masked dancer, is he?
No, definitely not. But look, one thing you might not have expected from the Friends reunion was that Joey Tribbiani actor Matt LeBlanc is going viral and becoming a meme sensation, with viewers saying he looks like an Irish uncle at a party. Well, they said a bit more than that, actually. One user tweeted, "Who wore it best, Matt LeBlanc or my dad?" Another one said, "Matt LeBlanc looks like a fella you'd end up having a deep conversation with in a residence bar after a wedding. 10 pints deep, and he's giving you the best advice you'll ever get. You'll never meet him again, but his sage wisdom sticks with you forever. A gentleman." No lies were told there, eh? No lies were told there. And finally, nominees who can't make it to this Sunday's BAFTA TV Awards will be able to appear via hologram. Yes, a hologram. Great stuff, right? The event will be socially distanced this year because of the COVID restrictions. So organisers are using 3D technology to ensure the stars can still make it. Fans will also be beamed in via hologram. Some will even have the chance to interview their favourite celebrities. Killing Eve star Jodie Comer has once again been nominated for leading actress after winning the award back in 2019.
Well, thank you very much indeed. Really good. Coming up next, Charlotte and Adil will be here in just a moment. Kim Tate may be Emmerdale's Lady of the Manor, but for how long? As the Dales braces itself for a week of drama, actress Claire King will be joining them live after 8:30. Plus, as choirs in England voice their frustration over unfair COVID restrictions that stop them from rehearsing indoors, we'll be live with a Welsh choir celebrating their musical reunion thanks to differing rules across the UK. Right, let's catch up with the weather with Laura.
Wow, everyone! It's lightning! Proud sponsors of Good Morning Britain National Weather. Boxed boilers.
Good morning to you. We are at Warwick Castle this morning. Of course, it is Bank Holiday Monday. It just screams families having a day out. And let me tell you, it is certainly the weather for it. It's a bit grey, misty and murky this morning, but that mist and fog will soon burn off. And we have a good-looking week of weather ahead. Well, first half of the week at least. So it carries on from the weekend. Here's what's going on. The jet stream. It's been all over the place, but now it sits to the north of the UK. We are on the warm side of things, and it brings with it dry, sunny, warm weather for most of this week, and largely dry as well. But towards the middle and end of the week as the humidity builds, so the risk of thunderstorms arrives as well. But for today, it's a story of misty, foggy morning. That will clear to then give sunshine, and then blue skies take us through the day. We have yet again low cloud and mist that rolled in from the North Sea. It will burn back towards eastern coast through the day. But unlike the last few days where it stayed along the coast, it will clear and it will be that bit warmer. So along the coast, we're talking temperatures into the high teens rather than 8 or 9 we had yesterday. But inland, in the sunshine today, we have temperatures of 24, maybe 25 degrees, and that would make it the warmest day of the year so far, finally getting to the end of May. So let's take a look at our 7-day outlook, where your weekend is always in view. Scotland, Northern Ireland, the far north of England, Temperature-wise, you can see they are way above average. And these are our average top temperatures. We could get to 24, maybe 25 degrees on Tuesday or Wednesday, but it turns cooler by the end of the week. Percentage chance of rainfall actually remains relatively low. Lots of dry weather to start the week. Towards the end of the working week, the chance of some patchy rain. It looks like it could be wet on Saturday, but then dry as we head into Sunday. Fortunes further south for England and Wales. Again, temperatures are way above average. We are looking potentially at 25, 26 degrees, our peak temperature Wednesday before it cools off. Rainfall, though, is looking difficult. Dry for the start of the week, but the risk of thunderstorms arriving from Wednesday onwards. For the weather where you are in detail, go to itv.com/weather.